grade 8 learners! Welcome back to my channel. It's so nice to see you again. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our fun and meaningful lessons in PE and health. Today, we're continuing our lesson in health. This is week 2 of our Physical Education and Health 8 class under the Matatag curriculum, part of the revised K-12 program. Make sure you have your notebook ready, find a quiet space, and let's prepare to explore another important health topic that will help you grow into a more informed and responsible individual. Ready? Let's begin! Now that we're all set, let's take a look at our learning competency for this lesson. Explain the importance of values in building a healthy and positive sexuality and preventing gender-based issues. Sounds meaningful, right? That's because this lesson will help you understand how your values, like respect, empathy, and fairness, can make a real difference in your life and the lives of others. By the end of this lesson, you are expected to define gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, and gender-based violence, and explain how power imbalance contributes to these issues. Analyze visual media and statistical data to identify patterns of gender bias and discrimination affecting females, males, and members of the LGBTQIA+ community. Identify relevant Philippine gender-related laws and apply them in real-life situations through case analysis and debate. Draft a simple legislative proposal that promotes gender equality and prevents gender-based issues, showing your understanding and application of the core values we talked about: respect, empathy, and fairness. The content of our lesson is prevention of gender-based issues. What does this mean exactly? In this lesson, we'll be exploring how to prevent gender-based issues. These are problems that happen when people are treated unfairly, unequally, or even harmed simply because of their gender. Before we proceed, let's do this activity first. Activity 1. Fact or bluff, decoding diversity in sex, gender, and sexuality. Go to your assigned group. Each group gets a set of fact or bluff cards. Take turns picking a card and reading it aloud. The class will decide if it's a fact or a bluff. After answering, your group reveals the correct answer and explains why. Keep your explanations clear, respectful, and helpful. Let's test what we know and learn from each other. Ready to see the answers? Let's find out how well you did in our fact or bluff challenge. Take a moment to reflect. Which ones were easy for you? Which ones made you think twice? Let's check the correct answers together. And remember, every answer is a chance to learn and grow. All right, learners. In this activity, you'll be analyzing a series of images. I will display one picture at a time for you to observe closely. Examine each image carefully. Think about what the image is showing in terms of gender roles, behaviors, or appearances. Ask yourself, does this image show any bias or stereotype? Are certain genders being portrayed in a limited or unfair way? Is there any form of discrimination you can spot? Write down your observations in your notebook. Be honest, thoughtful, and respectful in your reflections. These are real issues we need to understand and talk about. Let's begin analyzing and open our minds to deeper insights. Now, answer the following questions based on the images you analyzed. Before we move forward, let's take a moment to understand some important terms you'll encounter in today's lesson. Assault. This means intentionally hurting someone, usually through physical force or violence. It's a serious offense that can cause real harm to others. Constitution. Think of this as the rulebook of our country. It outlines the rights of every citizen and how the government should work. Harassment. This is when someone repeatedly behaves in a way that is threatening, disturbing, or meant to make another person feel uncomfortable or scared. Law. These are official rules created and enforced by the government. Laws guide how people should behave and help solve problems in society. Legislative. This refers to the part of the government, like Congress or Parliament, that has the power to make or change laws. Norms. These are the unwritten rules or behaviors that are considered normal in a particular society or group. Policies. These are guidelines or rules created by institutions, schools, workplaces, or governments to help achieve certain goals and solve specific issues. Violence. This means using physical force to hurt people or damage property. It includes harmful actions that can affect individuals and communities. Take note of these terms in your notebook. You'll be using them in upcoming activities and discussions. Let's continue learning and make sure we understand these terms clearly, as they're key to promoting respect and preventing gender-based issues. Subtopic 1. Understanding gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, and violence, with emphasis on power imbalance. All right, learners, let's begin unpacking an important and timely topic. What is gender bias? Gender bias happens when people are treated unfairly or given preference simply because of their gender. This often leads to one gender being disadvantaged compared to the other. It shows up in everyday life, at school, in the workplace, in healthcare, and even in simple conversations. Gender bias supports stereotypes and unfair treatment based on what society thinks men and women should be like. Examples of gender bias: gender pay gap. In many places, women still earn less than men even when doing the same job. Interview questions. Sometimes women are asked about their marital status or plans to have children, which are irrelevant to the job. These questions often reflect bias. Gender stereotypes are fixed ideas about how people should act based on whether they are male or female. These ideas often follow the male, female, or masculine-feminine binary, and they don't show the full picture. Even when there's evidence that challenges these beliefs, people may still believe them. Plus, stereotypes ignore the existence and experiences of non-binary individuals. Common types of stereotyping: personality traits. Women are more emotional, or men are naturally leaders. Domestic roles: thinking only. Women should cook, clean, or take care of kids, and only men should fix things or pay the bills. Occupations: nurses and teachers are expected to be women, while pilots and engineers are expected to be men. Physical appearance: beliefs like women must shave their legs, or men shouldn't wear dresses. What is gender discrimination? Gender discrimination means treating someone unfairly just because of their gender. And this most often affects girls and women. This can lead to fewer job opportunities, unequal pay, limited access to education or leadership roles, more unpaid work at home. This unequal treatment exists in many parts of society and contributes to gender inequality, where one gender, usually women, faces more barriers than others. Gender-based violence refers to harmful acts directed at individuals based on their gender. It affects people of all genders, but is often experienced more by women, girls, and members of the LGBTQIA+ community. Let's explore the 4 common types. Physical violence. This involves hurting someone's body through actions such as hitting, slapping, punching, kicking, or any form of physical attack that causes injury or pain. Example: a partner hitting their spouse during an argument. Sexual violence. This includes any sexual act done against someone's will. It can involve unwanted sexual touching, sexual harassment, rape, or attempted rape. Example: forcing someone into a sexual act without their consent. Emotional and psychological violence. This form of abuse affects a person's feelings and mental health. It includes threats and intimidation, constant criticism or humiliation, controlling behavior or manipulation, making someone feel worthless. Example: a partner constantly belittling or threatening the other. Socioeconomic violence. This happens when someone is denied access to resources, education, or employment because of their gender. It includes controlling a person's money or income, denying someone the right to work or go to school, withholding basic needs or opportunities. Example, not allowing a woman to get a job or earn her own income. Remember, gender-based violence can happen anywhere, at home, in school, at work, or in public places. It's important to recognize the signs, speak out, and support those affected. Let's promote respect, safety, and equality for all. Activity 3. Unveiling the facts. Gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, and violence. Let's take a look at the real numbers that show how gender bias and discrimination affect females, males, and members of the LGBTQIA+ community. For females, women often occupy lower-paid jobs worldwide. As of January 2023, women held only about 25% of parliamentary seats globally. 1 in 3 women, approx 736 million, experience physical or sexual violence, usually from intimate partners. In the Philippines, 2022 National Demographic and Health Survey, 17.5% of women aged 15 to 49 experienced intimate partner violence. In 2021, there were 8,399 cases of physical violence, 1,791 cases of rape, 1,505 cases of acts of lasciviousness. For males, about 1 in 9 men experience physical, sexual violence or stalking from an intimate partner. In the Philippines, 18% of men reported violence and harassment in the workplace, compared to 22% of women. 60% of male victims didn't report abuse due to fear of judgment or lack of trust in the system. For LGBTQIA+ as individuals, 50% of transgender people have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime. 44% of lesbian women, 26% of gay men, and 37% of bisexual men have been victims of rape, violence, or stalking. LGBTQIA+ youth are 5 times more likely to attempt suicide than their heterosexual peers. Among homeless LGBTQIA+ youth, 46% left home due to family rejection. 43% were kicked out, 32% were abused at home. Let's reflect. Did you notice any common themes or patterns across the statistics and facts presented by different groups? How did the statistics and facts presented impact your understanding of gender dynamics and their effects on male, female, and LGBTQIA+ individuals? What insights did you gain from comparing and contrasting the statistics and facts across different gender identities? How do you think gender intersects with other factors such as race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and disability? Activity 4. Walk in their shoes. Role-playing gender dynamics. All right, grade 8 learners. Let's now move on to our next activity, and this time, you'll get to step into someone else's shoes, literally. In this role-playing activity, you will portray real-life situations involving gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, or even violence. The goal is to understand different perspectives, reflect on how these issues affect others, and think about what we can do to make things better. Here's what to do. Get into small groups. Your teacher will guide the groupings. Each group will be given a different scenario to act out. These scenarios are based on true-to-life situations involving gender-related issues. Assign roles within your group. 1 or more individuals experiencing discrimination or bias. 1 or more individuals causing or reinforcing the issue, and possibly some bystanders or people trying to intervene. Read your scenario carefully, then discuss how you will portray your roles. Try your best to act realistically and respectfully. The goal is not to shame anyone, but to learn and feel empathy. Sample scenarios. Here are examples of the situations you might receive. Workplace discrimination. A qualified female employee is passed over for promotion in favor of less experienced male colleagues. Street harassment. A woman is catcalled while walking alone. LGBTQ+. Discrimination. A transgender person is denied restroom access and verbally harassed. Educational discrimination. A girl is told by a male teacher that engineering is for boys. Cultural stereotypes. A family event reinforces gender roles. Men lead, women serve. Take this activity seriously, but also be open and honest. This is a safe space to learn and grow together. Are you ready to walk in someone else's shoes? Let's begin! Let's now move on to our second subtopic, gender-related laws and policies. This part of the lesson is very important because it focuses on the legal rights and protections that exist to promote gender equality and prevent discrimination and violence, especially against women and marginalized genders. These laws serve as a framework for justice and fairness, helping ensure that everyone, regardless of gender, has equal access to opportunities, protection, and dignity. What are gender-based laws and policies? Gender-based laws and policies are legal measures created to promote gender equality, protect the rights of women and gender-diverse individuals, eliminate gender-based discrimination and violence. Even though there has been progress in the Philippines, challenges like unequal treatment, workplace bias, and gender-based violence still exist. That's why these laws matter. They help to protect the vulnerable and hold violators accountable. Let's go over some of the most important laws. Article 3, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution, known as the Equal Protection Clause, it says, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws." This ensures that everyone is treated fairly under the law. No favoritism, no discrimination. Republic Act No. 6, 725, Strengthening Gender Equality in Employment. This law protects women from unfair treatment in hiring, promotion, and employee benefits. It applies to all employers and promotes equal pay and equal opportunities in the workplace. Republic Act No. 10,627, Anti-Bullying Act of 2013, protects especially students from bullying in school and online, requires schools to implement policies, reporting systems, and penalties to stop bullying. The Magna Carta of Women, 2009, guarantees equal opportunities for women in education, work, and government, calls for gender-sensitive programs and women's health services. Republic Act No. 9262, Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004, provides strong legal protection against domestic violence, abuse, and other forms of harm. However, poor implementation can make justice difficult to access. Republic Act No. 11,313, Safe Spaces, Act Bawal Bastos Law, protects people from sexual harassment in public spaces, schools, workplaces, and online, applies to both men and women, especially protecting LGBTQIA+ individuals. The Rape Law of 1997 criminalizes rape, including marital rape and rape involving persons of authority. Strict penalties are imposed, but stigma and underreporting still challenge enforcement. The Gender and Development (GAD) program requires government offices to allocate a budget and create programs promoting gender equality. Implementation is still slow in many areas, but it's a step forward. Other gender-sensitive policies: Great Women Project, Women's Priority Legislative Agenda, Gender Fair Education Policy. These aim to support women's economic roles, strengthen gender equality in lawmaking, and promote inclusive education. Understanding these laws empowers you as a learner and future citizen. These policies are meant to protect people from harm, promote fairness, and ensure that everyone, regardless of gender, can thrive in a safe, inclusive environment. Let's keep going. All right, Grade 8 learners, it's time to put your critical thinking and communication skills to the test in this engaging activity called Equality and Debate, Unveiling the Gender Policy. In this activity, we will dive deeper into the topic of gender-related laws and policies by participating in a class debate. This is your chance to express your thoughts, defend your ideas, and respectfully listen to others. Debate topic: the effectiveness of gender-related laws and policies in promoting gender equality in the Philippines. Here's how it works. You'll be divided into two groups. Proposition: this group will argue in favor of the debate statement. Opposition: this group will argue against the statement. Each group will be assigned one of these debate positions. Proposition statement: the implementation of gender-related laws and policies needs urgent reinforcement to address persistent gender disparities in the Philippines. Opposition statement: The existing gender-related legal framework in the Philippines is adequate, and the focus should be on better enforcement rather than introducing new legislation. Your group will research and prepare your arguments. Look for facts and statistics, real-life examples, news articles or government reports, testimonials or documented cases. Choose a primary speaker to present your arguments. They'll be given a time limit of 5 minutes to make their case. After the initial speeches, we'll move into the rebuttal round, where each group will respond to the opposing side's arguments and ask follow-up questions. Reminder: be respectful and fair. We're not debating to win. We're debating to understand. Listen carefully, express yourself clearly, and back up your ideas with evidence. Your goal is to show that you understand both the strengths and weaknesses of the gender-related legal framework in the Philippines. Ready to take the floor? Let the debate begin! All right, grade 8 learners, put on your thinking caps and get ready to become legislation detectives. In this activity, you'll investigate real-life inspired scenarios and identify which gender-related law or policy applies best to each situation. Read each scenario carefully and thoughtfully. Analyze the situation. What kind of issue is being described? Decide which law or policy best addresses the issue. Write the name or code of the applicable law. Think back to our previous discussion on the different Philippine gender-related laws and policies. Use what you've learned to make smart, informed choices. Some of the laws you might encounter include: be observant, be precise, and most of all, be fair and respectful in your judgment, just like a real lawmaker or lawyer. Good luck, detectives. Let's start solving those cases. Now, pause the video or go back to the first item if you need more time. There are 8 scenarios in total, so make sure you've read, analyzed, and answered all 8 before moving forward. Don't peek at the correct answers just yet. They'll be revealed right after the last scenario. That's scenario number 8, so stay focused and honest. Are you ready to check your answers? If yes, go ahead and let's see how well you did as a legislation detective. Let's begin checking. How many correct answers did you get? Count them now. Remember, knowledge is power, and when we know better, we do better. Let's keep learning and making a difference. Now let us do Activity 7, Legislative Advocacy, addressing gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, and violence. It's time for you to take the lead in creating real change through legislative advocacy. Here's what you need to do. Step 1, draft your proposed law. You will individually draft a proposed law that addresses gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, or violence. When writing your draft, be sure to include the following parts: title of the act. Make it catchy but meaningful. Description. What is your law all about? Why is it needed? Key provisions. What actions or policies will your law enforce? Penalties. What consequences will violators face? Be creative yet realistic. Think about how your law can truly help people and promote equality. Reflection on learning. Activity 8. Breaking boundaries. Unveiling gender dynamics and legal solutions. Time to pause, reflect, and connect everything we've learned in this lesson. This activity will help you think more deeply about gender dynamics and how legal solutions can help create a fairer, safer society for all. Please answer the following reflection questions honestly and thoughtfully in your notebook or on a separate sheet of paper. How do gender biases and stereotypes impact societal attitudes and behaviors? Think about what you've seen in real life or media. How are people treated differently based on their gender? What are the key challenges in addressing gender-based discrimination and violence? Consider what makes it hard to stop these issues. Is it lack of awareness, fear, or unfair systems? How do gender-related laws and policies contribute to promoting gender equality? Reflect on how laws like the Magna Carta of Women or the Safe Spaces Act help protect people. What are effective strategies for raising awareness and challenging gender bias and stereotypes? Think about campaigns, education, role models, or social media. How can individuals and communities advocate for the enforcement and improvement of gender-related laws and policies? What can students like you do? What can schools, families, or leaders do to make change happen? Take your time to answer each question. Be honest, thoughtful, and open-minded. Once you're done, you can share some of your insights with a partner, your teacher, or in the comments if you're watching this online. For our final activity, let's take a moment to really think about the important ideas we've explored in this lesson. This activity is called Agree or Disagree Exploration. You will read a list of 10 statements that touch on gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, violence, and gender-related laws and policies. Your task: for each statement, decide whether you agree or disagree, and be ready to explain your reasoning if asked. Write agree or disagree. Once you're done, feel free to share and discuss your answers with a classmate. This is a great way to hear different perspectives and build empathy and understanding. Are you ready? Let's begin. That's all for today, Grade 8 learners. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and, most importantly, learned something valuable about building a healthier, more respectful, and inclusive community for all. If you found today's topic meaningful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on more lessons ahead. Your voice matters, and your learning journey continues. So keep asking questions, stay respectful, and always stand for what is right. Until next time, this is Ma'am Raina. See you in the next episode. Bye!